Having few friends isn't a flaw, it's a filter. If you're someone who keeps a small circle or no circle at all, there's a psychological reason for it, and it has nothing to do with being antisocial or broken. There are 5 rare traits that explain why you are the way you are, and once you see them, you'll stop apologizing for who you are. But first, here's what you need to understand. Most people think connection is about quantity. How many friends you have, how big your social circle is, how many people show up to your birthday. But psychology shows the complete opposite. Deep connection is about quality, and quality requires selectivity. If you're selective, you end up with fewer people, but the people you do let in, they actually matter. Now here's why this matters. If you don't understand these 5 traits, you'll keep thinking something's wrong with you. You'll keep forcing yourself into social situations that drain you. You'll waste years trying to fix something that was never broken. These 5 traits aren't weaknesses. They're wiring, rare wiring. And here's the question. Are these traits making your life harder, or are they actually your unfair advantage? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one it is. Let's start with the first trait. Trait 1. You don't want more connections. You want deeper ones. Most people collect friends like trophies. The more, the better. For you, that feels empty. You'd rather sit across from one person and talk about something real than spend 3 hours at a party having the same surface level exchange 10 times in a row. So, what do? Oh, cool. How long have you been doing that? Yeah, totally. That's awesome. You can feel your soul leaving your body. That's not antisocial, that's depth preference, and it's rare. Most people can't handle depth. They need constant distraction, constant variety. You don't. You can sit with one person, one topic, one idea for hours and actually go somewhere with it. That filtering you do, turning down invitations, skipping the group hangouts, saying no to networking events, that's not you being difficult. That's you protecting your depth. Because depth requires space, and space requires boundaries. But here's where it gets interesting. That preference for depth, it comes from something most people don't have. Trait 2. You see patterns others miss. You notice things. The way someone's voice shifts when they're uncomfortable, the gap between what people say and what they actually mean, the pattern in how someone acts when they want something. Most people don't see that, or they see it but dismiss it. Maybe I'm overthinking. I'm probably just being paranoid. It's probably nothing. You can't do that. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. You're at dinner. Someone says, "I'm fine," but their jaw is tight and their shoulders are up by their ears. Everyone else keeps eating. You just cataloged 6 data points that say they're not fine. And now small talk is unbearable because you're seeing 10 layers deeper than the conversation is going. They're talking about the weather. You're watching their micro expressions. You're noticing the anxiety they think they're hiding. And you can't just turn it off. That's why you pull back, not because you're shy, because you're overstimulated by subtext most people don't even notice. You're not antisocial, you're pattern sensitive, and that's an entirely different thing. But processing all that information, it takes energy, a lot of it. Which brings us to the third trait. You recharge alone, not with people. For most people, being around others gives them energy. For you, it drains it. Even with people you love, after a few hours, you feel it. That quiet depletion, like your battery is running low, like every word you speak costs something, like you're slowly dimming. And the only way to refill it is alone, in silence, with no one needing anything from you. That's not rejection, that's restoration. You're not avoiding people, you're protecting the energy you need to show up fully when it matters. Because you don't have unlimited social capacity. You can't be on all the time. So when you cancel plans, it's not because you don't care, it's because you're already at 0. And if you push past 0, you'll spend the next 3 days recovering. Most people don't get that. They think you're flaky, unreliable. They're wrong. You prioritize your ability to actually be present when you do show up, and that requires protecting your energy like it's sacred, which is exactly what the next trait is about. You're selective with your energy because you have to be. You can't show up for everyone. You can't be at every event, every group chat, every coffee invitation. So you choose carefully. You say no to events that don't matter. You skip the group chats that drain you. You avoid the surface level networking that leads nowhere. Not because you're rude, because you know exactly how much energy you have and you refuse to waste it on things that don't build anything real. Most people scatter their energy everywhere. They say yes to everything. They're at every party, every meetup, and they wonder why they're exhausted, why they never have time for what actually matters. You don't do that. You conserve your energy. You invest it where it counts. One deep conversation with someone who gets it is worth 10 shallow interactions with people who don't. And that selective focus, it leads to the fifth trait, the one that ties it all together. You build in silence. While other people are announcing every move, posting every plan, performing for an audience, you're working quietly, consistently, without needing validation at every step. You don't need the crowd to cheer you on. You don't need constant feedback to keep going. You'd rather disappear for months, build something real, and let the work speak for itself. That's not loneliness, that's focus. And that's the rarest trait of all. Because most people can't build without an audience. They need the noise, the attention, the external validation to keep going. They post about the goal before they've taken the first real step. And when nobody's watching, they quit. Because they were never building for themselves. They were performing. You don't do that. You disappear. You go quiet. And then you emerge with something real, something finished, something that actually exists. That ability to trust yourself in the silence, to keep building when no one's watching, that's what separates people who talk from people who do. So here's the answer to that question from the beginning. Are these traits making your life harder, or are they your unfair advantage? They're your advantage. You're not missing out. You're opted out. And there's a massive difference. While everyone else is collecting shallow connections and wondering why they feel empty, you're building something real. While they're draining their energy on things that don't matter, you're investing yours where it counts. While they need an audience to keep going, you're building in the silence. Depth preference, pattern sensitivity, energy selectivity, the ability to build in silence, these aren't weaknesses. They're filters. And in a world drowning in noise, filters are power. You're not broken. You're rare. Now the question is, what are you building in that silence? Drop it in the comments. And if this explains something you felt but couldn't name, subscribe. We build quietly here, brick by brick.